The vaccines are safe. I promise you, they are safe and effective. Listen to Dr. Fauci.
Okay, hi. Thank you.
So, did you happen to have that vaccination card they gave you with the lot numbers?
Yes, I do. Let me find it here. So, what happens after this? I mean, have you guys seen a lot of this? Like, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
I saw somewhere yesterday, I was reading, I think it was on the Guillain-Barré website or something, it was stating that nobody had been I don't know if I'm saying the right words, that nobody had reported, or that Moderna and Pfizer had reported there hadn't been anyone who got Guillain-Barré from the vaccine, but I knew I had. And then there were 2 other people in the hospital when I was there who had it, just in my hospital alone. So, I mean, the vaccines are still in clinical trials, right? So doesn't this information help?
Yes, exactly. So the information does help. I mean, we're still gathering information as people are continuing to get the vaccine. So anything that we do receive does help for anything that happens in the future going forward.
Is everyone that's getting the vaccine in the clinical trial, or is it only some of the vaccines are in the clinical trial? I'm very confused on that.
No problem. Let me go ahead. Before I read or get that answer to you, I just have to read a quick disclaimer from Moderna and the FDA. So the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine, the clinical trials. So, okay. So the clinical trials are ongoing, actually. So this is, all the clinical trials are still ongoing. The long-term protective efficacy of the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine is currently unknown. It is therefore not known whether a vaccine recipient who was exposed to the virus that causes COVID-19 will get mildly ill or have no symptoms. Results of the ongoing phase 3 study show that there are no cases of severe COVID-19 infection among participants who received the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine, compared with 30 cases among those who received placebo, which is no vaccine.
Okay, so only 30 people got that placebo?
In the phase 3, yeah. So there's been 3 phases. They're all ongoing because basically the people that got it the first dose, they're still looking at the long-term effects of it.
Right.
So they can't really say the trials are done necessarily.
Okay, so everybody who's getting these vaccines right now is in the clinical trial. It's not like some of us got it and some of us didn't. Like, everyone who's getting it is in and participating in the clinical trial.
Pretty much. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she have a heart problem. And she go doctor and they give her the COVID injection, and that's how it leave her.
Can you breathe, Freddie?
Yeah, you're gonna have to go to Halifax, buddy. I know. Breathe. Probably fucking don't do nothing up there, not
We're trying to see how this metal work and adjust it as it's needed, but for right now, it's definitely making me very tired, which is good because that can bring healing from my brain.
Hi, my name is Sarah. I had a crazy reaction to the Johnson & Johnson vaccination on April 9th of this year. Ever since then, my brain has gone into a complete tizzy. It made it so that I could not walk. I've had speech issues, cognitive delays. My limbs, my extremities have gone numb. I've had quite a bit of memory loss. You name it, I've had it. I've been in the hospital now 5 times.
Sorry about my appearance, but long story short, I got the Johnson & Johnson vaccine yesterday. Nobody knows if this is the reason that all this stuff is going on, but started with chest pain, paralysis on my left side. I was rushed over via ambulance to Baylor, Dallas, where I have had numerous scans done. I have had about 8 seizures in the last 2 days. Never had a seizure before.
Good guy. Yeah.
Hello, Facebook. I just wanted to comment about the Moderna vaccine. Everyone knows that the Moderna vaccine put me in the hospital in January. I was not able to walk, use the restroom. I lost my vision after 5 days of being in the hospital. I had to go to rehab and learn how to walk. I had to have a Foley for the first 2 months of my recovery. I also have to have someone drive for me now. They diagnosed me with MS. So now I'm having to take all kinds of medicine for multiple sclerosis, which is not in my family. So the vaccine gave me MS. They said it didn't, but how did I get MS? So now I'm sitting at home, not able to work, had to retire from my job.
You watching this might be like, oh, so what? You swell, no big deal. This is so much more than swelling, than normal swelling. This is life-threatening. This can cause your tongue to swell, to cause your airway to be jeopardized. This is swelling that has made me an immobile lump of nothingness for going on 4 months now. I literally go from my bed to the chair in the living room. The swelling is so extreme in my abdominal cavity that I huff and puff just walking down the hall because there's nowhere for my diaphragm to go. There's nowhere for it to expand. The fatigue is overwhelming. You constantly just feel drained. You have no energy to do anything. Sometimes just getting out of bed takes all of your energy.
My heart feels like it's jumping and flipping and fluttering. And my dizziness came back. I finally had that gone for a bit. I can't function. I have to go pick up my child from daycare. I don't know how. I can do little things to an extent, and then I feel like I need to go to the hospital. I really don't want to go back to the hospital. It's hard to feel like you can't do the things that you normally are doing. And I'm scared that something bad will happen to me. Because my heart is screwed up. And they're not figuring it out. So frustrating.
I just have to set this out there. I got the COVID vaccine, the Pfizer. And since then, and before then, please know I was in perfect health. There was never fucking nothing wrong with me. Since I got that vaccine, I had a seizure. I have never had a seizure in my life. I had a seizure. A whole seizure. Nobody knows why. I have high blood pressure, and when I say high blood pressure, I mean chronic high blood, like 198/92 high blood pressure. Where the fuck did that come from? I've never had that. All these ailments are now happening to me. Now, mind you, I'm not young, but I wasn't fucking sick before I took that vaccine, and now I'm a little skeptical.
Alright, Taryn.
June, joined by federal politics reporter Fiona Willem. The how far does this get back?
Well, Brad, it was expected that COVID-19 jabs would be introduced in cities from May. So that was to coincide with stage 2A of the rollout, when people aged 50 and over become eligible for a jab.
So mirror document. So you have clots, and pneumonia from the fucking COVID shot. Yeah. See, I told her shit. Don't take that job.
Breathe, baby. Can you talk to me? Can you say anything? Can you say anything, baby?
Absolutely 100% not. It's been 7 weeks since I got my first one. I'm still getting emails and calls and texts saying that I need to schedule my second one. No, it's not happening. I will not take a second one. I will not take any additional boosters. I will not take anything. It's been 7 weeks. I'm still experiencing a lot of what I experienced, from week 1. And for me, the risk is too big because I honestly feel like the second one would probably kill me. And I'm just being honest because there's been so many times throughout the past 7 weeks that I literally thought I was going to die. And there is no way in hell that I'm putting any more of that into my body. So no.
It's just like the worst nightmare I can ever imagine.
Brandy Parker McFadden is confined to her hospital bed at Vanderbilt.
Can you walk right now? No, I can't walk.
Less than 24 hours after receiving her second Pfizer COVID shot, she explains she lost her ability to move from her shoulders down.
My name is Christy Simmons. First of all, I would like to say that I am a registered nurse. I took the COVID vaccine to protect patients and my fellow co-workers. I took it a week and a half ago. It'll be 2 weeks this coming Tuesday. I have had tremors for the last 3 days. I have been to 4 ERs and have been discharged, stating that I need to follow up with neurology. I've contacted 2 neurologists. One cannot even see me until after March or late March. The other one said that they will not see me at all. I'm making this video so that people are aware of the possibilities of reactions to the vaccine.
Por esta nueva oportunidad de vida a la salud, porque fueron experiencias muy grandes, muy tristes. Dios mío. ¿Acaso está convulsionando un maestro? Vamos a ver. Ven acá.
Pfizer. It was worse. It's a little better. It's like Parkinson's or something.
I've been a CNA for 25 years, and I love my patients. I love my job. I got the COVID vaccine, the Moderna, on January the 4th. On Tuesday, I had mild flu-like symptoms. I went to work. Stomach pains and diarrhea, some, on Tuesday, normal flu-like symptoms. Wednesday, I wasn't feeling good. I wasn't able to go to work. My tongue began to spasm out of control. By Thursday morning, I was in full body convulsions. When I get upset, they get a lot worse. But for the most part, this is my typical day.
On May 28th, I got my first dose of the COVID vaccine.
3 days later, I started experiencing pain in my legs. I noticed I had a really hard time actually picking up my legs to getting to the car or to even get on the bed. I had a really hard time doing that. It felt so painful. Instead of getting better, I just kept getting worse. I had trouble with both legs, and the pain started moving upward towards my arms. I started getting throbbing pain in my arms. I got so scared and concerned that I ended up just going to the hospital. When I got to the hospital, they said that I was having symptoms of a stroke or a neurological issue. I've gone through many tests already. It's been a nightmare. I want to go home. They have no idea what's wrong with me. They even said it's a mystery.
ไม่เขาชักเร็วมากเห็นไหมเขาชักเร็วมากทำไมไม่เอาแมสออกก็หายใจยังไงโอ้ยเร็วๆโอ้ย
And in the case of vaccine, I just heard before, we know, for example, in Europe, there is already absolutely confirmed by ultravigilance at least 18,000 deaths linked directly to the vaccine. In a normal research, you would stop this immediately. And there's 1,800,000 severe cases. So this is only 1 to 10%, according to Rainer Fulmich and other scientists, of what is really on the ground.
Thank you, Senator Johnson. Good morning. My name is Candace Hayden, and I'm from Michigan. I received the Moderna vaccine on March 2nd and the second dose on March 30th. On April 18th, I had a typical day, swimming, running, and gardening. I was beginning the training for my next triathlon. At 7 p.m., I turned to my left and felt an odd pain under my shoulder blade. I took a step and my right leg buckled slightly, but I didn't think anything of it. I continued with my day. And then around midnight, I went to stand and both my legs buckled. I was suffering from severe paresthesia and was partially paralyzed from my chest down. During the 26-day hospital stay, I had 6 MRIs, 2 CTs, a TEE, a spinal tap, and several blood tests. They ruled out MS, transverse myelitis, spinal cord stroke, and autoimmune disease. Medically, there was absolutely nothing wrong with my body. After 7 days, the medical team prescribed an aggressive dose of steroids that resulted in no change. I started inpatient therapy after 17 days, and I was released from the hospital on May 14th with no concrete diagnosis. The head of my medical team told me that I should get used to being handicapped. I started and am still in outpatient therapy, and on May 21st, I visited my primary care doctor as I was instructed, who told me that she couldn't offer me anything, but if I needed her, to give her a call. My medical team at the hospital refused to associate my condition with the vaccine, and I continually asked them to report to VAERS, but I don't think that they did. It defies my imagination that we can find each other. But the medical community refuses to draw the lines and recognize that people are suffering similar adverse side effects. Case in point, I was able to locate another patient in the hospital that I was in with similar symptoms, brought it to the attention of my medical team, and they refused to even speak to that patient's doctor. I don't have a spouse, nor do I have young children. In one respect, I'm truly blessed from my family not having to have to suffer. But it leaves me isolated and lonely. As my interactions with others is limited, this is far worse than COVID lockdown. Before this, I was healthy, I was active, and self-sufficient. I fear my diminished quality of life is my new normal. Will I ever run again? Will I ever ride my bike? I would give anything to get in my car and just drive it. My greatest fear is for others like Maddie, the children, those that are younger that don't have a voice, that can't tell you how they're feeling, that don't understand why their legs are no longer working. I am pro-vaccine. I am pro-science, and I understand the vaccine is for the greater good. However, I also understand that we represent a small portion experiencing negative side effects. We trusted science, and we did our part. As a result, we are now synonymous to wounded soldiers who should not be left behind. We are asking to be seen, we are asking to be heard, and we're asking to be believed. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Christy Dobbs. I do really appreciate you all being here today. It means a lot to us. And Senator Johnson, Senator Johnson, thank you so much for your willingness to have us here so that my voice can be heard, but not just mine, but thousands behind me. As I said, my name is Christy Dobbs. I'm from Missouri. I am a wife and a mother of 4 children, and I have practiced as a dental hygienist for the last 17 years. And since being in such a career, I have always been pro-science and pro-vaccination. Before my vaccination, I was a healthy and active 39-year-old. I enjoyed activities outside, traveling and crafting with my family. I also cherished my work in a very busy pediatric dental office. I was not taking any medications prior to the vaccine, and I have never had a COVID infection, and I have been tested for proof. In January, my life changed drastically. Immediately after the injection, I felt an odd tingling type dripping sensation in my arm. I had immediate heart palpitations and a feeling as if I was going to pass out. I'm so sorry. And my blood pressure reading was so high that I don't know how I didn't have a stroke. I cannot quote what it was, but as a hygienist, I take blood pressure readings on my patients before I treat them, my adult patients. And it was so high that I was scared in that moment that something was happening to me. I did eventually stabilize. They monitored me for the 15 minutes and then an extra 30 minutes after. And I did stabilize, so they went on ahead and sent me home. When I got home, I felt a little, woozy, a little dizzy. The next couple of days, I just had a headache and just kind of that feeling of unwell, all of the things that I had signed up for to get the vaccine. But it was 3 days later that my symptoms increased and accelerated. I had a sharp stabbing pain in my scapula area that was just this intermittent, like a knife stabbing pain. I had tingling and numbness throughout my body. It ran down both my arms. I also still had the heart palpitations. I had these internal vibrations, And the only way I can explain the internal vibrations is it feels like you have this little electric shock running through your body, like you're stuck in a vibrating chair, like glued into it, and it never stops, which has made me leery if I'll ever be able to practice as a hygienist again. And like Cheryl, I am so fearful that I may have some sort of neurological issue after this with Parkinson's. They have ruled out MS, but again, they have not told me that I have anything. They can tell me what I don't have. I have swollen lymph nodes, brain fog. I had brain fog so extreme that I would be having a conversation with someone and I would black out. Try to come back to that conversation and nothing was there. Swollen lymph nodes, muscle weakness, unexplained skin rashes. I had convulsions and nighttime seizures. I had to have my 6-year-old daughter wake me up from a fit in the middle of the night. No 6-year-old should have to do that for their parent. I have also experienced thick, clotting, heavy menstrual cycles. I was so afraid that I literally, and I have it with me, I prepared my will and my obituary for my family because I didn't think that I would wake up to the next day. I have reported my symptoms to VSafe, VAERS, CDC, FDA, Pfizer. I have also sent information to 2 very well-known research institutes, and I have also reached out to prestigious universities. I've been dealing with this for 5 months. These past 5 months, my severe neurological reactions continue to plague me. Every day feels like I'm trapped in the movie Groundhog Day. I go to sleep, praying, thinking I'm going to wake up the next morning and be better. And I'm not. I've had multiple tests, more than any person should have to go through this time in their life. I have had x-rays, blood work, MRIs, CT scans, ultrasounds, EEGs, and more. To date, the medical community has still remained baffled and unable to restore my health. I'm scared and frightened for my future. So I do have hope, and this is why I'm here today, speaking out. This is not an easy thing to do, guys. But I hope that our conditions will be researched and studied. I hope that we can find a solution and a pathway to health. That's all we want. I would give anything. I would give my whole life savings if I could go back to January 17th and never to have had to experience this in my life. And 3, that those that are suffering and that those that will come behind us, because the vaccine is still rolling out, that they will benefit from us coming forward and speaking today. We have suffered long enough. I think that we do deserve this time that you've given us today, and we are so gracious that you've taken your time to be here today. But we do deserve to be seen, which you are seeing us today, and heard, you're listening, but we need to be believed. That is the biggest issue. We just want you guys to believe that this is real. We are real Americans. We are real people experiencing these side effects. So I thank you for doing just that today.
Real close. All right. So first, thank you, Senator Johnson, for the opportunity to share Maddie's story, and to all of you for your willingness to listen. This isn't easy for me, and this has been very clearly emotional. So I'm going to read what I've written so I don't lose track. My name is Stephanie, and this is my daughter, Maddie, and we live in Ohio. On January 20th, Maddie received her second dose of the Pfizer COVID vaccine as a participant in the clinical trial for 12 to 15-year-olds. All 3 of our kids volunteered and were excited to participate in the trial as a way to help us all return to normal life. My husband works in the medical field, and I have a degree in electrical engineering. We are pro-vaccine and pro-science, which is why we agreed to let Maddie and her 2 older brothers volunteer for the trial.
Before Maddie got her final dose of the vaccine, she was a healthy 12-year-old who got straight A's and had lots of friends. She had a life. She was energetic. She was not like this. Although she does still have lots of friends. Upon receiving the second shot, Maddie immediately felt pain at the injection site. And over the next 24 hours, she developed severe abdominal and chest pain. And the way she described the chest pain, and I quote, "It feels like my heart is being ripped out through my neck." She had painful electrical shocks down her neck and spine that forced her to walk hunched over. She had extreme pain in her fingers and toes. It actually made them turn white, and they were cold whenever you touched them. She had edema. So my husband immediately took her to the ER as instructed by the vaccine trial nurse administrator, which is what we were instructed to do. Her blood was taken for a renal profile and tested. She was checked for appendicitis, which she did not have, and given an IV with some medicine and sent home. However, in the discharge papers from the Children's Hospital ER that she went to, the diagnosis stated adverse effect of vaccine initial encounter. This would be the only time that that was written in her medical charts, but it's in there. Over the next 2.5 months, her abdominal, muscle, and nerve pain became unbearable. She had developed additional symptoms that included gastroparesis, nausea and vomiting, erratic blood pressure and heart rate, memory loss. She mixes up words, brain fog, headaches, dizziness, fainting. She fell and hit her head, and then seizures. She developed verbal and motor tics. She had loss of feeling from the waist down and muscle weakness. Drastic changes in her vision, urinary retention and loss of bladder control, severely irregular and heavy menstrual cycles, and eventually she had to have an NG tube put in to get nutrition. All of these symptoms are still here today. Some days are worse than others. Our greatest challenge came when her doctors began to consider an alternative diagnosis. Well, she really didn't have one before, so it was the first one. So, like everybody else, she had lots of tests, but not nearly as many tests as everybody else, and she's a child. Why didn't they do all those tests on her? Sorry. So, because they couldn't figure it out, one physician labeled her as having functional neurologic disorder, saying it was due to anxiety. This concerned us, and we didn't agree with it because she didn't have anxiety. Look at her. I mean, what 13-year-old can sit here calmly, okay, if they have anxiety or mental issues? At one point, they even tried to admit her to a mental hospital. So we did seek additional medical opinions, some of which came from this group. In June, we connected her neurologist with another doctor that's doing research on adverse reactions like Maddie's. She was finally provided, but they finally gave her an MRI, did an MRI of her brain, an MRV, and a bunch of additional blood tests. It took 5 months to get that done. Over the past 5 months, Maddie has been to the ER 9 times and has been hospitalized 3 times for a total of 2 months in the hospital. What I want to ask, Maddie volunteered for the Pfizer trial. Why? Why aren't they researching her to figure out why this happened? So other people don't have to go through this. Instead, they're just saying it's mental. Anybody's mental to me. So today our journey as parents to help our daughter Maddie continues. All we want is for Maddie to be seen, heard, and believed, because she has not been. And we want her to get the care that she desperately needs so that she can go back to normal. Why is she not back to normal? She was totally fine before this. She did the right thing trying to help everybody else, and they're not helping her. Thanks.
closer. I just wanted to say thank you all for being here to hear these stories. And as you can see, now I have to see your faces. We are like family. We have suffered together for so long in a way that no one understands but us. So we really do appreciate you taking your time to give us a voice, to give us this opportunity to plead our case. A huge thank you to Senator Johnson. He's been very kind and very generous with his time. I also want to say thanks to Senator Lee, my home senator, and his staff for their compassion and for taking our concerns seriously. And they're actively working with us to help us find a solution. My name is Brianne Dressen. I am a preschool teacher in Utah, and I am a mother of 2 small kids. Like everyone else here, I am a strong supporter of science, and I have always believed in the importance of vaccines. I was so confident in this that I enrolled in the phase 3 clinical trial here in the United States for AstraZeneca. Within minutes of my first shot, I felt tingling down my arm, and by that evening, my vision had become blurry, and sound became distorted, and I developed hyperacusis, which is a sensitivity to sound. Within 48 hours, I landed into the ER, the first of many visits. My sensitivity to light and sound became so severe that I had to be confined to my bedroom alone in darkness and silence. Even brushing my teeth was painful. I then began experiencing erratic heart rate and body temperature, extreme nausea to the point that I lost over 20 pounds. Just before Thanksgiving, I lost control of my legs and my bladder, along with my dignity. At the hospital, I was treated for a severe migraine, and when that didn't resolve anything, they told me it was anxiety. Next came the vibrations, and they were internal vibrations in my brain and all through my body. I couldn't think, I couldn't eat, I could barely breathe. This persisted 24/7 for months. I was trapped in isolation and in silence, completely overwhelmed by the sensations attacking my body. My children went days without seeing me. I missed out on months of their lives. I did not buy a single Christmas present for my kids. I thought I was dying, and after months, I wanted to die. After months of suffering alone, I found Dr. Hertz and her group. I was initially relieved to hear others like me. However, my relief turned to alarm as our numbers grew, and then it started impacting kids. All of our experiences were similar. Healthy people who became ill after receiving the vaccine, whose doctors insisted that these reactions were not really happening, that the CDC would have told them. They blamed MS. They blamed anxiety. They blamed migraines, anything but the vaccines. A new friend of mine had long haulers. Then she received the vaccine in hopes that her symptoms would improve. However, rather than bringing relief, the vaccine took what little progress she had made, leaving her severely debilitated. We talked often, many days just trying to hold on. Then I hadn't heard from her for a few days, and I get a phone call from her husband, and she had become a victim of suicide. The human toll is real. This is not some benign reaction. This thing overtakes your body, and you have no choice but to hold on and hope that you survive. We have been robbed of our cognitive abilities, our physical abilities. We cannot work. We cannot care for our families or our children or ourselves. We are struggling to make it through each day, abandoned by our healthcare teams. We are the collateral damage of the pandemic. As you can see, I am recovering. I can walk. The touch of my little son's hand no longer feels like it's setting me on fire. The sweet sound of my daughter's voice no longer feels like it's attacking my brain. But I have a long way to go. I still am unable to work or care for my children. We had to refinance our home to hire a nanny. Before this, I took one medication, a thyroid pill, every day. And now I am on 9. And that's just to turn down the dial just enough to make the symptoms bearable. We all volunteered to receive the vaccine to try to help to end the pandemic, but now we are suffering. COVID has impacted all of us. For some, it has resulted in loss of life. For others, they are now long haulers, debilitated and suffering. There are long haulers who have got the vaccine and their condition improved. There are long haulers who got the vaccine and they stayed the same. And there are long haulers that got the vaccine and now they are worse. And there are some who never had COVID and are now severely debilitated and sick. This is us. We are part of the full picture. Please do not erase us. Please do not make us invisible. To the media, we need your help to start the conversation. To help us end the stigma surrounding the term COVID vaccine reaction. To the CDC and FDA, we desperately need you to communicate with the medical community what is happening. To our elected officials, we need help getting momentum for research for early intervention strategies so that when these patients do arrive in the ERs and hospitals, physicians will be equipped with the knowledge and tools to help us. To the medical community and to research institutions, please help us. Please hear us. Please believe us. Thank you.
Cayman Chemical, which makes the alleged ingredient, and the ingredient list for the Moderna vaccine to find out.
The Moderna vaccine does contain SM-102.
I grew up in hell, no soul to sell, I'm living well, don't need your cash, your fame's a joke. I thrive in chaos, no need to choke, nothing you do can stop my brain. I'm dancing in the fire, embracing the pain. I am hate, I am love, the truth when the darkness grows. Give me a minute and I'll break these chains. What's held me back, I'll erase the stains. I've got no desire to stay on your track, so get ready, rabbits, there's no holding back. Nothing you've done is ever enough. Get out of my way, I've had it with your bluff. I'm here to bring you down to your knees. Nothing can stop me, I'll do as I please. Shoot me, beat me, lock me away. You killed my family, so let me say, remove my voice, left me in hell. I don't want a soul, I'm done with this spell. Get out of my way, I'm done with your game. My rage is a fire, it's fueling my flame. Give me a minute and I'll break these chains. What's held me back, I'll erase the stains. I've got no desire to stay on your track, so get ready, rabbits, there's no holding back. Good old Joe, it's nice to see you go. My family's gone, your lies dealt the blow. So when you're gone, know what I'll say. I will spit on your grave, you murderous prey. Hurry up and die, no one needed you here. Your reign of terror has vanished in fear. Army we stood through the years, witnessed the lies, the abuse and the fears. Choices led to deaths, elderly and weak. They said to take the jab, but it's truth we seek. You swallow deceit, every word like a pill. But the time's come for justice, we're ready to spill. Censor up, see if we care. We're the gods who watch, standing strong, we're aware. On your graves, we'll take our place. Piss on your lies, relish the stench of disgrace. Get the hell out, we're sick of your schemes. Fed us enough empty promises and dreams. You want to gamble with lives, well that's insane. We're rising up now, igniting the flame. Censor up, see if we care. We're the gods who watch, standing strong, we're aware. On your graves, we'll take our place. Piss on your lies, relish the stench of disgrace. The curtain's drawn, we see you start to flee, knowing your deeds are in history's decree. Nothing you do will erase what's been spun. so you're lost in your haze. The point of this game was to call out your names, to expose all the truth behind your cruel games. You fell for the trap, now the proof's in our hands. Run, little rabbits, the fun never ends. Censor up, see if we care. We're the gods who watch, standing strong, we're aware. On your graves, we'll take our place. Piss on your lies, relish the stench of disgrace. We risked it all to bring forth the truth. Face down your tactics, we saw straight through. You think you can stop us, you've clearly misread. Money or fame won't silence our spread. When the media's burning, it crumbles like a body burnt by a nuke. Burnt by a nuke. Nothing holds weight, run and hide what we say. Poor little boy, looks like they're scared of all the truths we can display. Report, we don't think so. Truth, we think not. Comment, okay, but with a broken brain and commentary from a dead-eyed fool. Not a good game. Let's just say shit to get clicks. Delete the facts while the truth slaps like bass so thick. No matter how you hit or how hard you try, we'll take this place. You think you can lie? Bitch, get on your knees, crawl and comply. Reporters, we don't think so. Truth, we think not. Comment, okay, but with a broken brain and commentary from a dead-eyed fool. Not a good game. Reporters, we don't think so. We think not. Comments okay, but with a broken brain and commentary from a dead-eyed fool. Not a good game, but honestly, best of luck. Looking in the eyes of a moron, so little left to say. So let's carry on. Bring what you will, report what you must. But like we said, in the end, we're the gods you trust. Reporters, we don't think so. Truth, we think not. Comments okay, but with a broken brain and commentary from a dead-eyed fool. Not a good game, but honestly, best of luck.
I promise you, they are safe and effective.
You mean nothing in
Listen
this
to Dr.
course,
Fauci.
just 'cause